Okay, so I just want to welcome everyone to this webinar, Sitting for Success, How Office Ergonomics Can Work for You. A couple things just housekeeping-wise that I want to point out before we get started. The chat feature, I want to make sure everyone is aware of it and you can find it. Feel free to send a chat at any point. I'll check it periodically. At the same time, we have a small group, so feel free to just jump in and talk as well. If you don't want to use the chat, that's fine as well. It's pretty informal, so just feel free to speak up anytime. And the other feature I want to point out in the Zoom tool is the raise hand feature. So can everyone just look for that? It should be under participants, and if you don't see it, please let me know. We'll try to help you. All right. So I think everyone's got it. With that, I want to start with a question. Raise your hand, please, within Zoom if your dad or your mom ever told you to stand up straight. All right, so it looks like everyone has their hand raised. Well, it turns out parents are usually right. They have good reason to have you standing up straight. There are a lot of impacts that poor posture can bring about. Can be headaches, muscle fatigue, insomnia, neck and back pain. Nearly 80% of Americans are going to experience some form of back pain in their life, so that's quite a bit. And if you do have a misaligned spine, that can add pressure to your muscles and ligaments, and that can lead to injury or pain there. So a few little facts just to get started. In the next 15-20 minutes, you're going to be able to define ergonomics. You're going to be able to identify and model proper sitting posture, and you'll be able to perform some stretches and exercise to extend your working endurance. My name is Alicia Gerstner. I'm your host for today. I work during the day as an instructional designer. I love photography, so maybe someday I'll try to go in that direction. I'm an avid traveler, and today I'm also an ergonomics enthusiast. So this topic really hits home for me because I have sat for many years for my career and for school at a desk working on the computer, and over the past few years it started to catch up with me, and I have experienced some neck and shoulder pain. I've even gone to a physical therapist to try to break some of my bad habits that I have. So during this webinar, I really just want to promote awareness of proper posture and ergonomics, and just get you to be able to identify what you need to do to make sure you're in the proper form during your work day. So with that, I want to learn a little about you. I want to hear your name and about how many hours per day you spend at the computer. If you want to give a little background about what you do, feel free, but you don't need to. And you can either submit it through the chat or feel free to speak up and introduce yourself. Shall we start with Joni?
Sure. Hi, I'm Joni, and I'm trying to think, when am I not in front of a computer or some sort of device? So I think during the academic year, it's pretty constant.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I can relate for sure. Okay, Haley, do you want to chime in?
Sure, I added my comment to the chat as well.
Okay.
I spend probably 8 hours a day sitting at my computer desk at work, and probably about 2 hours each night at home over the computer, unless I have intensive schoolwork or maybe Skyping with a friend, then it could be another 4 hours or, things like that.
Right, wow.
So.
Between 8 to 12. That's a lot of time.
Most of my day, yes.
Me too. I did hear from Jennifer through the chat. She says 8 hours per day at work and another 4 hours per day for school and other stuff. So that's about 12 as well. And Darlisa chimed in on the chat as well. She said about 8 hours at work and 2 to 4 for other hours, or excuse me, about 8 hours per day as well. And she's an instructional designer too, so that's cool. Sophia joined us as well. She stated she spends about 8 hours per day at work and about 2 to 4 for other things as well. So it sounds like we're all kind of in the same range, at least 8 hours, if not 12 or more. So that's definitely a lot of time. So even if you don't today feel any effects from sitting at the desk, just be aware that it's potential in the future that can happen if you aren't really conscious of your posture and form. All right, so I have a challenge for the rest of the webinar, and that is if you can identify one or more things that you can do to help improve your workstation, your posture, anything related to ergonomics. I have created a Google Doc, and I'm going to send that link to everyone in the chat. So if you can click on that link and go out to that Google Doc, and just let me know if anyone doesn't get there. I'll give you a minute or so, and I'm going to go to that location as well. Is anyone not able to get there yet? Okay, so I'm going to just do a quick overview of this document. It's kind of put together so you have a resource after the webinar. We won't cover a lot of it we will cover the topics, but we won't come to this document until the end otherwise. Some basic posture tips here at the top. There's a workspace planner tool, so I am going to show that at the end of the webinar. There are some exercises that I'm going to show you, so I've just taken some notes so you don't have to. And a couple links if you're interested after the webinar. You can come out here and take a look at more resources. And at the bottom are the takeaways. So that's your part. Please, at any time something clicks in your mind or you think of something, it doesn't have to be anything that I'm presenting necessarily. If you know of other ideas, I'd love for you to jot down what you know and then share it with the rest of us. That's great too. So just try to keep that in mind as we continue and jot down what you learn. Are there any questions before we continue? I'll just pause. Sophia, I can see you now. Okay, so what is ergonomics? The origin is Greek. Ergon means work and nomos means laws. If you do a Google search for ergonomics definition, what you're going to find is it's the study of people's efficiency in their working environment. So basically it's fitting the worker to the workplace or to their work environment and what they do. Different jobs obviously have different tools. For us in the office environment, we're mostly used to using our chair, our keyboard, mouse, monitor, all those things. So making sure that those are arranged so that they don't take a toll on our body. So this is a picture of me sitting at my desk with my laptop, and you may notice some things that aren't the best. So I want to invite you to point out some things that you think are not good about this picture, either through the chat or go ahead and talk through it. All right, Desk is too high. Yep, I definitely agree with that. My arms are kind of at an awkward position for that reason. Anyone else? My eyes are looking down. Yep, I agree. My head is kind of forward. Screen is too low, someone said. I'm not using the back of my chair, so that little support that you need in the back is not there. I'm sitting too close to the front of the chair, someone said. Great, I think you've pretty much hit them all. So you should sit not with the forward head like I kind of have here. Your wrists should be straight. Your elbows should be close to the body and bent between 90 and 120 degrees. And as someone mentioned, your lower back should be supported in the chair to get that nice lumbar support. Great job. Darlisa said, I think I do all of those things. And yes, I find myself doing those things too. It's bad. This is one more image, and I think it's pretty much the same except for one thing. Can anyone find that one thing that also is happening? Yes, very good. Legs are crossed, and that's something also that we shouldn't do. So here's the next picture. What do you think? Is this better or worse? Better. Okay, good. I agree. This is a better position. So as I talk through this, if you can kind of check yourself and make sure that you're in the proper format at your area where you're working right now. My head still is slightly forward, and that's a habit I'm trying to break. I tend to get into my work and go closer to the computer, which is not a good thing. But your head should be straight ahead. Your monitor should be right in front of you, and basically the top third of your monitor should be at your line of sight. Your shoulders should be back and relaxed. Your arms should be close to you and have that nice 90-degree angle there. Again, your wrists are straight with your mouse and your keyboard. Your legs should be at a 90-degree angle as well. So just like your arms, another 90-degree angle there. And here my back is supported with that nice lumbar support, and my feet are firmly on the ground with my legs uncrossed. So how does that feel to everyone? Were you able to get into that good ergonomic posture? See some nods. Great. The one other thing you want to check for is you should be able to draw a line basically from your ears to your hip and shoulder. It should be a straight line. So again, my head is a little forward, but you should have a straight, nice line between your shoulder, your hip, and your ear. All right, feels much better. That's great. So beyond posture, what else can we do to improve our work environments? There are a few things I want to point out. Anything that you use on a regular basis, so if you use your cell phone often, your calculator, your stapler, just make sure that you can reach it easily, that it's within range, so that you're not stretching to grab things on a regular basis. If you don't have a great chair with a lumbar support, you can put a little pillow back there. That's helpful. If you do have a second monitor or a document holder, you want to just make sure that you can see it kind of with your eyes, and so that you don't have to constantly move your head to see that. And I don't know if anyone's like me, but sometimes I like to work from bed. And if you do like to change up your working environment and work from bed or wherever, what they recommend is to have your back against the wall or your headboard, and have a couple pillows in your lap, and so that you can rest your laptop on top of those pillows so that you can maintain that nice position for your arms, and then have that back support as well. Maybe put a pillow behind your lower back. Okay, so those are a couple other things just to keep in mind. The biggest thing I want to tell you is just to keep moving throughout the day as often as possible. They really recommend every 20 minutes, but I know that's probably hard. That's hard for me, probably hard for a lot of people. So at least every hour. And I've even started using an app. It's called AIDA Reminder, AIDA. I'm sure there are other apps too, but it's nice because it'll allow you to create a reminder that you can set just Monday through Friday between 8 and 5. I want every hour to be reminded. So it pops up quietly on my phone and just reminds me to kind of either do some exercises or get up and move around. So with that, I'm going to teach you some of the exercises that I'm trying to do on a regular basis. The first one is called a chin tuck, and it's not the most attractive exercise because you're basically giving yourself a double chin. But what you do, and I encourage you to try this at home or wherever you are as we're going through it, you just kind of move your head back and in a tucked position, and you hold it for like a second and then let go. So you're basically giving yourself a double chin. And I do that about 10 times once an hour. And that's really helping those muscles back there, trying to get my head back in that more straight position. The next one, I'm not sure if any of you find your shoulders kind of rolling forward at times, and maybe we do so much in our life that is in front of us. It's easy to have those shoulders roll forward. So what you want to do, again, I do this about once an hour, 10 times, and you hold it for a second. You just squeeze your shoulders back. And when you do that, make sure they're not coming up. One thing that I tend to do at my computer when I get stressed out a lot is my shoulders come up. So you want to make sure they're down and back. And pretend like you basically have a pencil that you're trying to squeeze between your shoulder blades. And just try that. All right, great. The next exercise, it's more just a stretch. I have here what's called a TheraBand, but if you have a towel or even if you just don't have anything, it's just a stretch this way. You can even stand between a door and just put your arms behind you in a door and kind of give pressure that way. And again, it's just opening up that chest since we do tend to do so much like in front of us. The next one I just learned from the physical therapist last week, and I really like this one. You put your arms on your shoulders and you keep your head forward, but you rotate your body. So that's kind of just stretching your shoulders and keeping them moving since they tend to stay in the straight position. You guys look great. Giving yourself a hug, basically. I like it. The last one I want to mention is just a stretch. If you do tend to have lower back pain, you can reach to the floor just to kind of stretch that area back there. Any questions on any of those or anything we've talked about so far? As I was doing research for this, I also came across a Time magazine article that said even fidgeting helps counteract the effects of sitting all day. So even if you're just fidgeting, it's a good thing. All right. We are back to our challenge. So I'm going to give you just a few seconds to jot down anything that you may have not had a chance to earlier, and then we're going to visit that document and just talk about what you've come out of this with. All right. So we'll start at the top. Sit in a chair that allows your feet to rest flat on the floor. That's a great one. Thank you, Haley. Sophia commented to request a standing desk. Create that straight line from your hips to your ears. That's great. I actually did end up buying a desk that is a sit-stand desk. I work from home, so I use my desk so often, and it is really nice, especially just for meetings. I like to stand up just while I'm listening in on meetings, and then when I'm really working hard, I might sit down. But it has been nice. It's a little pricey, but I think it's been worth it. Invest in a wireless keyboard and mouse to help improve posture when using a laptop. That's great. Also, if you're constantly tucking your feet behind your chair, need to move them in front of you. Yep, try to get that nice position with your legs as well. Great. And I want to think through how I use my laptop because I think it reinforces problematic posture habits. Laptops are troublesome. I worked actually on the internal audit staff for the first couple years of when I worked at my current company, and we traveled all the time, so we only used our laptops, and I think that's the beginning of when I started developing really bad habits because I was always on my laptop. So just be aware of that. Try to catch yourself and reposition when you can. And keep on fidgeting. Yes, keep on moving however you can. That's great. Well, thank you for all of those. Those are great. And this will be a resource for you to refer to at any time. I just want to come back up now to this workspace planner tool, and I'm going to show you what that is. So it's a website you can come to, and you can say, do you want a sit-stand adjustment? Do you use bifocals? And provide a unit of measurement. So well, inches or centimeters. Then you basically just click your height, and it adjusts it here, and it'll tell you basically how high you should have everything for your specific height in order to have that good position. So this might be a good thing to check out after the webinar. Make sure that you have everything structured well for your height. All right, great. We're going to go back. Oh, my free meeting is going to end in 10 minutes, so we're going to continue. So the title of our webinar, Sitting for Success, How Office Ergonomics Can Work for You. There's really just 3 things I definitely want you to take away, and that is to be mindful of your posture and make sure you have that proper alignment. Arrange your workstation properly so everything is at the proper height and you can reach the things that you use often. And the big one, take regular breaks to stretch and move. Here are a few of the resources that I used to create this presentation. So I wanted to just share those. I did get some comments about images, and I just want to point out I used death to the stock photo for my images in this presentation. If you go to that website, you can sign up for monthly photo packs, and the pictures they allow you to use in this kind of way, and they're really nice pictures. So for anyone interested in that. And I did have a question too about what sit-stand desk did I buy. Oh, and the name of it is escaping me, but I will get back to you on that. Sophia, thank you for the question. I will put it in the Google Doc after this webinar, so you have it. I'll open it up if there are any questions before we sign off. Okay, well, I will leave you with one image that I came across that I thought, I don't know, it resonated with me. It's this kind of evolution picture, and it shows how our bodies have changed and our tools have changed. And it's interesting how our technology has gotten so much better, but we might be losing sight of what it's doing to our bodies. So just keep that in mind. And I just want to thank you again so much. I really appreciate all the participation and for attending today. So thank you. I hope this was worthwhile, and I hope you can take some things back and use them in your daily work day. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Feel free to contact me with any questions if you think of anything else. Thank you.